Good morning, everyone. It is saying that I am live, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I am 11 minutes late. So I knew I should have pushed this live to 8 a.m. because I was not fully prepared for this morning's live. So we are going to wing it. It's okay. It's no big deal. I got part of it done, and then we'll just work on the rest of it together. So welcome. My name is Melinda Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I have been going live on Wednesday and Thursday mornings, somewhere between 7 and 8 a.m. My goal was 7, and then I thought, well, how about 7:15? How about 7:30? It's been an experiment. So today it is 7:45, but I promise I will nail down a time and we will stick with that going forward. We are going to be working with the July paper pumpkin kit again. This is my second alternate project using the paper pumpkin kit. I think that this is one of my favorites from the year so far. It's the cutest idea with the fireflies and the summer nights, and I purchased the add-on cards. So I've been playing with this a lot because it's perfect for summer and sunsets and, catching the fireflies or lightning bugs, whatever you call them, in jars. I remember doing that when I was little. And I was like, well, what else can I put in the jars? And I came up with the idea of doing a shaker jar invitation, which I think is kind of one of the ideas that the Paper Pumpkin team had too. So that's what we're going to be making today. Not going to lie, my craft table is a mess. I'm sure you can relate to that. But yeah, so we are going to be working on invitations. And then I was also playing around with, I have these strings of, they call them different things depending on where you buy them, fairy lights, twinkle lights. I think that they're pretty popular. So I am curious as to whether or not you guys have these little light strands too. I've even seen people put them into cards, but we're going to do a little bit of Tealight Decor, like the little Tealight bags that came in the paper pumpkin kit. We're going to be like stamping and doing some fun die cuts and some ideas with that too. The only trick to this is I can't make the room super dark to show you what it looks like lit up. So I think what I'm going to do is we'll decorate them up. We'll do the best that we can. And I can take photos once it is dark or if I'm in a dark room. And I will post the follow-up pictures of what the tea lights look like decorated at night. So I'm going to show you my messy table now. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll at least give you the idea that I was working with here. We're going to do a summer version and we're going to do a Halloween version. Okay, so let me just look at this mess. Okay, so here is part of the Halloween invitation. Okay, so I actually took the jar from the paper pumpkin kit. I actually used 2 pieces. Now, if you only have one kit and you're limited on the jars, just use it for the top. But I wanted to create a shaker. Okay, and then I actually did adhere a couple of spiders right to the top of the jar so that you could see them very clearly. But I have a couple of other things. I don't know if I'm doing this any justice at all. I have a couple of other spiders in there. And then I also have these little, they're like beads and rhinestones. Let me show you what they are here. So we're going to be using these today. And then I also have, just as an alternate idea if you need it, these are the woven threads sequins. And you know what? I didn't even double check to see that these are still available in the catalog. I apologize. I will have to make sure that they are. If they are not, I'm pretty sure that they are, because this is the 2019-2021 sequence. So hang on just one second. I forgot to close the door. Sorry about that. Some Halloween door sound effects for you. So anyway, we're going to be using these, which let me just give you the name of them right out of the gate here. These are the Flowers for Every Season Gems. That's an annual catalog product, our 2020-2021 annual catalog. And these are in colors for this year, so I'm pretty sure these are still available. These are the woven thread sequin assortment. But if you are looking through our new catalog, the mini catalog, August to December, they have some awesome sequins that you can purchase in there as well. So anyway, let me go ahead and I'm going to put up the banner real quick so that you guys can see what this is about. And still getting the hang of this. So I'm just going to leave the banner up just for a moment, and then I'll take it down when we actually start getting into this. So here's the idea. So the idea is we have this fun little shaker. I don't know how much justice I am doing it, but so cool. And we have the little, what are these called? The gems, the Flowers for Every Season gems coming up out of the cauldron too. I thought that they looked really cool, like little bubbles. So I thought that that was so cute on the tag. So I'm going to walk you through how I did the alternate project, and then of course we'll do our summer project too. But the idea is that it will go onto one of these little postcard invitations. Okay, and then you could position that, you know, wherever you would want, and then have your invitation on the other side. So this was when I was doing some test stamping. Let's go ahead and do some stamping here. So in terms of making the invitation, let's talk about the paper pumpkin stamps, and then I'll walk you through how we're going to do the tags and everything. So with the paper pumpkin alternate projects, of course, we add in extra products and we do fun things and all of that lovely stuff. But let me just show you. So when you're doing invitations, no matter what invitations that you are doing, I like the Stamparatus. Okay, the Stamparatus is a tool that not only helps you keep things lined up and straight, but you can also stamp and repeat with it. Okay, so when you have something like we have with the paper pumpkin alternate projects, and let me show you, I bought multiple kits, so I have more than one stamp set. So just a heads up here, but okay, so just to show you here, so you can see we have when, we have where, we have RSVP, we have the line here so that we can create the invitation. You're invited, it's a party, you light up my life. Okay, so we're going to have some fun with this when we do the summer invitation, but let me just, for the sake of the actual tool for using the Stamparatus, I'm also using the Blackberry Bliss that came in the July kit for the ink for this. Okay, we're just going to switch out those little pieces, and of course, oh, here it is right in front of me. We're going to do the when, we're going to do the where. So all we're going to do is swap out the word, and we're going to leave the line alone on the Stamparatus plate. So one of the great things about the Stamparatus is it has this grid on it. Okay, so when you're working with the grid, I can take when off. And when I put where on, I can literally put where exactly where I had when by lining it up. Okay. Check the other side just to make sure that it looks like it's straight. Okay. And then I'm going to ink this up. If you would rather not do this directly on the back of the postcard, if you would like to layer it, just in case you're worried about making any mistakes, go ahead and, and do that. The other thing about the Stamparatus, just in case you're not familiar, is that it has a magnetic base, and it has these two magnets that get stored right underneath the Stamparatus. They go right under here. They stay here. This is where they live when you're not using them. And this will help to keep your paper in place so that if you don't get a perfect stamp the first time, you can re-ink it and do it again, and it will go exactly into the same place. So that's another thing where if you're not a confident stamper yet, or you're worried, or you have to make, 10 invitations, 20 invitations, just depending on how many boxes you bought. This is one of those things that's really it's gonna work for you. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead, and what we did was I started at the top and I'm just gonna walk it down. Okay, so we'll do the when, we're gonna do where, we're gonna see how this looks. Just gonna hold my paper down. Okay, the when, the where, and then we'll do, you could do multiple lines for where, just depending on how much room you need for your address or the address wherever your party is going to be. Just for the sake of this, I'm literally just going to do RSVP as the third line, and we're going to keep it simple. Okay, so now I'm going to take my where off. We're going to do our RSVP. Same thing. I'm going to literally put it right to the end of the line. I'm going to line it up with this line right here on my grid. I'm going to check the other side. Looks good to me. Okay, so I'm going to go yet another one down. Okay, and we're going to ink it. The Stampin' Spots are wonderful for the Stamparatus. It's one of those things where you have a little bit more control because it's a smaller ink pad as opposed to using the full-size ink pads. When you're trying to ink up the plate, you're less likely to ink up other areas because you have those. This is a nice, small, firm pad here, and that it really gives you nice ink coverage without making a mess. Okay, so let's do our RSVP line. Okay, so I absolutely love that. Now, there are other things that you can add here. And one thing that I didn't think of was, let's say this is your summer invitation and you want to put it's a party. Okay, so what I could have done was, just lined this up, laid it down, picked it up with the plate, and then this would be on here for every time too. Okay, so if I went back up to the top to stamp, let's just say, okay, so if you included your It's a Party stamp up there, you would be able to stamp that every single time too. Okay, so just in terms of how you want to make your invitation, exactly what you want it to say, things like that. But I'm going to keep this really basic. I want to keep it a little bit generic so that, it puts the ideas into your mind as to whatever you would like to do with it. But this is the most basic that you could do with an invitation. The Stamparatus is absolutely perfect for this. I'm going to take the It's a Party off because, for the Halloween one, I was thinking maybe I could do It's a Halloween Party, or It's a Party Halloween, or something like that. So it's just one of those things where when you start doing your alternate projects, you can play with it and see what you want it to say. But let's go ahead. We're going to keep that one pretty basic. Now, before I put this on, okay, so I thought, let me show you with two different, so they have, I think, 3 different designs for the postcards that come in your paper pumpkin kit. this is another thing I wanted to point out to you before I start adhering this. So the one that I ended up using for my tag here. So again, depending on how many paper pumpkin kits you have, depending on how many of the postcards, or if you bought the add-on cards. If you bought the add-on cards, you're in great shape for alternate projects and things like this. If you just have the paper pumpkin kit and you're working with, limited pieces, maybe you're only making 3 or 4 invitations, I think it's okay to have the variety. Like, it doesn't have to look exactly the same each time. But I created these really nice tags. Okay, so you get 3 tags out of 1 postcard. If you cut it with, this is the die from the Have a Hoot bundle. I had just recently done a video with this, and if you want, I can link the video. When this replay is on YouTube, I'll link the video so you can check that out if you want more details on that. But you're going to be seeing me use this a lot. So this jar is from the paper pumpkin kit, and then what I did was I added in, get it out for you, these are called foam adhesive strips. I love these for shaker cards. You get 40 strips whenever you buy these. They're nice and long. They are 9 1/4 inch, and then they're very thin by 2 3/4. So, or no, I think it's 3/4 of an inch. 2 3/4 of an inch. Well, in any event, let me just show you. So what I did was I used that. I just wrapped one of these all the way around the border, and then I cut another piece across the top to close it off to make that shaker. Okay, so the tag I used Ghoulish Goodies, which this is the first time you're seeing this. And I used the witch with the cauldron and the cat, just because I thought that would be so cute. And then I stuck to the paper pumpkin, You're Invited stamp for this particular tag. So if you want to cut this out with a certain look, if you're going to layer it, if you're going to do a 2-piece like this, okay, so like I thought that this was the coolest thing to have these 3 different colors. And of course you can recreate that just by, shading with your ink pads and whatever paper you want. But if you want to do this quickly for the paper pumpkin alternate project, you can see what I had done here was laid down. Let's see how I did this. I did it this way. So I laid it down just like this so that I could get that cut where you had all 3 of those colors there, that sort of Milky Way sky look there. Okay. And that was how I ended up getting this tag. So I have my die cutting machine in a different area that isn't set up like near this. This is a temporary craft table. So I can't cut like live on air, but I just wanted to be able to show you what that layout would look like. Here's what it would be different no matter what. It's sticking to the magnet, no matter which one that you did. So if you did this one, it would be just a little bit more of like a darker sky and background. And then we're going to actually turn that into a shaker too. I thought that would be cool. If we can swing that during the live, we'll do that too. So I really like this particular look, like this particular postcard for tags. And I would like to make several of those. So I'm actually going to save this one for tags. Okay. And we're going to turn this piece into a card too. Here are our leftover tags from the first one that I cut. Here's the one that we're using for our actual invitation. I mean, would you just love getting this invitation? I would be so excited if I got a spider shaker card invitation in the mail. And the reason why I chose the witch was because you know how they say that witches have like all these weird ingredients in their potions and things. Maybe they have spiders in their potions and it's in their jar. So that was the thought concept there. So let's go ahead and we're going to adhere this shaker to this sheet. Oh, but before I do that, there was one other thing that I wanted to show you. So here's what I'm talking about with fairy lights. Now, I know these are popular, but let me show you this. Okay, so I was playing around with the Tealight bag, this bag, which I'll tell you more about in a minute. But let me just turn this on. Oh. Sorry, you can see there's like 15 different modes. I just want it on solid for the sake of this. So this is like a harvest version. I don't know if you're familiar with the brand Bethlehem Lights, but this was actually, my aunt gifted this to me last year. We are big fans of home shopping and QVC. But I'm sure they have, you know, these little fairy lights everywhere. I see them in craft stores and everything. So you'll have to let me know if you have them. I've seen some people actually put these in cards. So they must buy like really short strands. I'm going to have to look into it. But I just wanted to show you how cool that looks behind. Let me see if I can turn this off. I just wanted to show you how cool that looks behind the jar. Okay, so the reason that I'm showing you this is not because I'm even going to attempt to put this light on an invitation, but I left this off because I wanted to show you if you wanted to make this a decoration instead of an invitation, how cool would that be? So if you made a bunch of these jars, and we also have the Flowers for Every Season bundle in the annual catalog that has like jars and shaker jars and things like that. So you could consider this for that too. But if you wanted to make a bunch of the jars, or if you have your jar stamps and you want to do, you know, cut out a bunch of vellum, line it up and then put your fairy lights behind it, you know, wherever you're displaying it on your mantle or something. How amazing is that? I just thought that that looked so cool. Okay, so anyway, we'll get back to the tea lights, but I just wanted to show you that. I'll leave that on because I'll show you the tea light bag in a little bit. Okay, so we're going to just adhere this down to the base. Now, if you would want to do anything else, you absolutely could. So I think it would be kind of nice to do a couple of bats. So let's go ahead and do that. I have some bats already pre-cut from the black glitter. And then we're going to take some of our adhesive dots from the paper pumpkin kit, and we're going to use those to put them on. The bats are from the Magic in This Night suite. It would also be available in the dies or the bundle. These are not stamps. So let's just do, how many should we do? I don't want to do one in every corner. That seems so. We'll just stick with that. All right, so let me get my adhesive dots. You could also use your stamp and seal. I believe that the adhesive dots that came in the paper pumpkin kit are smaller, so let me use the ones that came in the kit. When I get all of my kit adhesives, I tend to put them all in the same place. Like I tend to put them all in a bag and just keep them on hand. So I'm just going to put some dots right on the back of this bat. We're going to be doing the same exact thing for the tea light bag. Some alternate tea light bags. Maybe what I can do is I'll put this lower. Let me make sure I'm the right side up too. Yes. That slightly important factor. maybe I should use my, I was thinking that maybe I should use my tear and tape because it's a stronger adhesive. You would use this, I would use the Stampin' Seal Plus for this because it's a 3D project. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention is that this twine is actually from Playful Pets, this black and white twine. Okay, so when I say alternate project for this particular one, it's all the things. I'm going to leave the tag loose. I think that that's part of the fun. I will be using these bats until Halloween night. I guarantee that. There are some, you know, I've seen a lot of bats over a lot of different holidays, or when I should, over the years, over the Halloween years. And I'm surprised like how often the bats look crazy. Like they don't look even, you know, they're either very childish bats or they never look like real bats. And I just think that these bats are so spectacular. Sometimes they look real cartoonish, you know, and that's fine for what, you know, whatever that brand or, you know, whatever their design team is. But these bats, I just think are so true to Halloween. Real bats. Okay. All right, so here we have it. Here is our Shaker alternate project. This is the Halloween version with our when, where, and RSVP right on the back. All right, and then let's do a summer version. So for the summer version, I'm still going to use, oh, here they are. Okay, so I thought that this one would be really nice for our summer version. We'll have it go this way, right? Is that the right way? And I guess there is no right way, really, right? All right, so let me get a jar. Now, I do want to use the die cuts because I like the colors. And instead of me doing, you know, like sandwiching it like a shaker like this, I'm going to put the shaker directly onto the card base. Because if you, like I said, if you're working with the paper pumpkin kit and you are limited as to how many of these you have, then this way you'll be able to use, you know, you'll be able to get more out of it. So what we'll do is we'll set up our shaker. The other thing with the Halloween one that I forgot to mention was I took a little bit of the early espresso and I actually tried to like make the, like if you look here at the edges, like I tried to make the jar look dirty, you know, like it was in a witch's house, a witch's haunted house. Okay, so with this one, nice and clean, nice and summery and pretty because it's going to be glowing with our little fireflies. And let me just grab the die cuts. But of course, we have the little stamp too. So the little firefly stamp, if you want to stamp the little firefly bug, and then if you want to do have the butt glow, they have the little stamp for the butt that you would just pop right in there. Okay, so get some of my pieces out. The wonderful thing about this is they give you plenty of the die cuts, but even after you run out of those, you can still do your stamps, just whatever you prefer. I'm going to pop some sequins into this one. And even though it's it's shaded, so you're not gonna, you know, see the colors perfectly like you would through clear. If, you know, and of course you could use a window sheet and make like a clear window sheet, or like I was saying, the Celebrate Every Season, they have little actual like shaker domes that are clear, and you'd be able to see these perfectly. So you can do whatever you want with your alternate projects, but I'm going to do, should we do like 3 of each? Let's see. So I'm just popping out the die cuts. We could even put some stars in there, but I think what I'll do is I'll put some stars on the outside. So let's take our foam strips. Okay. I'm going to take at least 2, and I'm going to adhere them to, maybe I should do a couple more. So if it was flat to the card like this, you wouldn't need to glue anything to the jar, but because it's going to be up a little bit and it's misty, you know, it has that vellum look to it, you're not quite going to see it. I still want to have like 2 right up on this. So I'm going to take an adhesive dot. I'm going to put it on top of the bug. And then we'll do 1 up here. We'll take another adhesive dot. We'll do like 1 over here. Okay, so just try to stay within the rim, because I'm going to use this line to line up my, sorry about that, to line up my foam strip. Going to pull that up. So I'm going to go from the edge of this space right here. It's double-sided sticky. This side is the sticky side right now, and then we have the protective cover still on until we peel that off. So let's go ahead and start. The one thing that I will say is when I bent this, it kind of pulled up the paper, so I'm just going to try to be a little more careful about that today. And this is so that you're sealing in your shaker pieces. I'm going to have a little extra left over. And I'm just going to trim that off with my paper snips. And we are going to want to close up the jar. See, it bent it here too. So what I should probably do is I should probably just cut, and then it would keep it flat. So if that's going to bother you, that little dome like look there, then you could go ahead and just snip it on the corner so that it's a little more straight, and that way it won't bend this, but it should still be okay. Okay. All right, so I like that. We're going to want to seal off the top too, so I'm going to take a different piece. Just going to eyeball it. To close up our jar. Okay, and I think that that is looking good. So in your paper pumpkin kit, it actually did come with twine. Now with your alternate projects, you might use more twine than usual, so just keep that in mind. If you want to make your original cards with the lanterns going up and down, use that twine first and then use your leftover twine for your jar invitations or alternate projects. Okay, so here's the twine that I'm talking about here. All right, so the other thing I want to do now is here is, and you can see how perfectly this matches. Let me see if I can, I'm just going to bring the whole thing up. Look at how perfectly that matches that base. Those are perfect. So if you do get an opportunity to use a clear piece so that you can really see those sequins, I say do it. Okay. So I'm just going to try to keep those there. The idea is to keep them all in the jar. And the question is, do I want this jar off to the side or do I want it centered? Yeah, maybe we'll do it centered. Okay, and then before I put this down, I'm going to take my twine. Just going to get a bunch of it. I'm going to wrap it around a couple of times. Okay, so that looks like that's the extent of the twine. There's not too much in this particular kit, so I'll keep it to a minimum here. If you have leftover twine from other kits, go for it. I'm just wrapping it. Okay. So just a few times, just enough so that I can have some extra on the outside for a tag. And then let's go ahead and put that down. I mean, is that just the cutest? These make the cutest little shakers. And of course, if you don't want that to be loose up top, because I just did the one layer, you could do a second foam strip and that will make it a little bit more firm. But it would be kind of cute to see them flying out of the jar, don't you think? Just whatever you think. So we're going to take another tag here. Okay. Now, I know this isn't the coordinating color. I think it is complementary, but if you don't like that, I would just say take another base and cut it so that your tag matches the way that you would want it to. But let's go ahead and do, I'm going to take some of these instead. And remember, you have the really cute like epoxy sticker, the sticker stars with the glitter and stuff too. I think that this would be nice. And you know what I forgot to do? Of course I did. I forgot to stamp my invitation on the other side. So I will just have to add a piece of paper, but just note to self and to everyone who's watching this, stamp your invitation part before you adhere your 3D shaker jar. Going live, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to add a little jar here. I just think it's going to be cute. So let's just add a jar. Let's add a lightning bug, or I call them lightning bugs, but so many people call them fireflies. Okay. And then we would still do the "you're invited," or you could put whatever you would want on the tag. So let's take a look at the options. The "you light up my life." That's how cute would "you light up my life" be? You could even do it like up here in the corner. You light up my life. The you're invited is actually probably not going to fit across this way. So we would have to do it like off to the side like that, which would still be cute. So let's see. You could, one option that you could do is instead of saying it's a party, you could do it's a and then party at the bottom. Should we do that? It's a party. That would be really cute. Or should we do the sideways you're invited? This is my brain, right? Okay, so let's just go ahead and do it's a and then party, and we'll put the lightning bug in the middle. So for that, I'm gonna grab some Post-its. Okay, so I'm actually using my paper pumpkin block here. I'm gonna cover party so that we just ink up it's a. And now I'm going to cover up ITSA and we're going to ink party. My Post-it just came off, so bear with me there. It's all party. Cute. All right. I'm going to use my snail just to be faster with the bug, but you could use your adhesive dots. I'm going to take a couple of my sequins with the adhesive dots because I love sparkle. Can you see that I just spilled them all over my table? That is classically me. Okay. So I'm going to take a couple adhesive dots here. All right, that is super cute. And we'll do some dots on the back of our stars. Okay. Just going to pop these on a couple of different places. Do up here in the corner. All right, so I'm going to take my little lantern and my tag. I would like for it to go off to the side. So let's go ahead and thread it through. It's not that I'm nervous, but you know what is occurring to me? I thread them both through. So let me just do this real quick. Let's get this. I also would like this to be off to the side if I can help it. I'm not going to fuss too much with the twine because it will take me forever, but I'm just going to put a little bow on, and then I'm going to put a little adhesive onto the back, and I'll position it that way. All right. Just putting an adhesive dot on the back here, just enough to keep it in place. You can see what I did wrong there, right? I looped them both through instead of just one side. So let's just, for pretend, say I will take, this is why pre-recorded videos are so awesome, you guys. I could have edited that all out. It's not perfect, but just do it like that. How about that? And that way you can still see all of our little shaker pieces in there. Okay, and they're in there, they're secure. And should I do a little bug flying out? I think that's cute. I'm going to add that. And of course, if you would want to put sequins around your, your invitation, you could do that too. I love that they're coming out of the jar. I think that is adorable. And we'll just pretend like there's an invitation on the other side. I'll have to add that after the fact. Okay, how are we doing on time? All right, so here we go. And let me show you my Halloween one too. So I wanted to show you a couple of things with the spider. So let's go ahead and stamp the spider. I'm just going to do it on some scrap paper. There are two different spiders. If you stamp, I just wanted to show you, this will be a good opportunity to show you the dies too. So This is the big spider, okay, that is in here. So we have our summer version and our Halloween version. I'm just doing that so I can get a screenshot. Okay. And these are the dies that I used for the projects today. And of course the tag one, which I put somewhere on the table, the little trio of tags. But we use these bats, we use this, and we use this. All three of these dies are actually from the Magic in this Night Suite. Let's see. I'm also going to be using the 2 spider stamps from the Hallows Night Magic stamp set. Now, what I wanted to say is this is a pretty snug fit for this die. So you can do this a couple of ways, just depending on your jar, because honestly, the little spider, this little guy right here, would be so amazing in this particular size jar. Okay, here's the die that I was talking about. Okay, so this little guy, you just stamp them all over the place. So if you were putting this on white paper, you know, like that, you can stamp it. So I just wanted to stamp this live just so that you could get an idea of what these look like. But this little guy doesn't have a die. So if you were not into fussy cutting, it would be a lot of detail cutting. I'm going to use my black archival ink for this particular piece. It's here. I know it is. This is what happens when we clutter our table. Okay, here it is. So this little archival ink is actually from the June kit. And then you may have your full-size guide too. But the reason that I'm using the archival ink is because I love how black it is. It has a little bit more pop to it than the Memento Tuxedo Black. And I don't need to color these. So let me just show you the difference in the sizes here. So there's the baby. Here's the big guy. Okay. And then I'm also going to stamp the witch. Is she going to fit? Yeah, I think she'll fit. Because I had already stamped the witch on the tag before we started this live. And this is another one that it needs a nice saturated stamp because it's a silhouette, you know. So let me just stamp her real quick. So even if you just left these images just as they are, you know, you didn't add any of the gems in there for bubbles from the cauldron, even if you just, the impact of these stamps is so amazing. And the reason that I want to show you this is because this spider is a snug fit. And I was just talking, somebody had left a comment on my YouTube video for the Have a Hoot that they were having trouble lining up the owl dies, and they are a snug fit sometimes. So usually I will go for like a visual point when I'm lining up a die to make sure that I have everything in place. And in this case, it's the 2 inner points near the body of the spider between the legs. So these 2 little V's right here is what I use to line it up. And once I see that those are real close to the body like that, I tape it down and I run it through the die cut machine. So if you are going to cut out dies like we did for this one, I cut a bunch of those. I think there are 5 or 6 spiders in here. Okay, so if you're going to cut 5 or 6 of those, or if you're going to cut 50, you know, if you're going to cut 30, if you're going to cut 50, or if you're going to do the jar with bats instead of spiders, then of course, you know, just keep that in mind. With the baby, you would have to hand cut that or, you know, punch it in like a circle or something. And then with this, you actually have the coordinating die, so there's no fussy cutting necessary. So I just wanted to mention that because I know that I have some of these projects prepped before we get on to the live, and then I forget to actually stamp it when I'm live with you. So I didn't want to forget to do that. Now let's talk about the tea lights just for a second. The way that the Paper Pumpkin team did the tea lights with the bag was they stamped the, I'll find it. They stamped the firework right down several times on the tea light bag. Okay, so we're going to do the tea light bag with a couple of stamps. We're going to do the little lightning bug, and then we're also going to do the firework. I'm going to use the Blackberry Bliss, just in case that's all that you have for the tea light bag. And for the firework, I'm going to do that a couple more times. These don't have to be like super decorated, but I just wanted to show you something with the lights. So let me do another one like this. I'm going to take a couple of those epoxy stars too, and I'm going to put them on this bag. Okay, so I'll put one right in the center here. All right, so we'll do this as our summer bag. And then for the Halloween bag, and of course, as I say this to you, it's getting lighter. I decorated this before we came onto the live. I accidentally ripped it, you guys. These are really thin bags. But let me just see if I can show this to you, if this will show up. I don't think it's going to. So I actually have bats on the inside of the bag, like going all the way down to the bottom. Can you see that big bat down there? Okay, and then I have the spider on the outside. So let me bring my little fairy lights back in. I just wanted to show you this because I have a colored version, like the Harvest Multi, which is the orange, the purple, and the green. And I think I have 4 of each of these strands. And then I also have the clear. But in both cases, these have big, bulky boxes. Now, I'm guessing that when you guys are decorating with your tea light bags, you're actually using like battery operated tea lights. I didn't have a current battery for this. I'm so sorry. They require these button batteries, and I always forget to buy them. But you know, something safe like this, you pop it on the inside of the tea light bag, and then, you know, perch it on your window or your steps, you know, lining where the trick-or-treaters would come and get their candy, right? Or if it's the summertime and you're decorating for a night party, you know, just put them about your yard or your garden or, you know, wherever you would be. So I thought this would be cool to do the Harvest Multi in this bag, but I hate the way that this looks. Now, this is just me. And my disclaimer to this is this was just a solution that I came up with. If you're not comfortable or if you don't think that it's safe doing this, I would never recommend doing anything and leaving it unattended. You know, if you're going to have this out for a couple of hours at a party. But what I did was I didn't want you to see this big like battery box in the bag. So I put it inside an envelope. Okay, so I tucked it inside an envelope. Just got the bulky stuff out of the way. These are on a timer. I did test this last night and it didn't get hot or anything, but I'm not recommending that anybody else do this. I'm just saying that this is what I did because it bothered me. So if you do happen to have these little fairy lights and you want to decorate with it and have it out, you know, for an hour, for 2 hours while people are trick-or-treating or something, then I think that that's a good way to do it. And then you just tuck it into the bag. So the way that I did it was popped it in the bag like this. And let me tuck in the lights. This is how I ended up ripping it last time. So be careful if you are working with wire lights. Okay, definitely stick to whatever safety rules or recommendations the manufacturer recommends, but this is just me winging it. Okay, and then hopefully you can see those bats starting to shine through. Okay, so there's one. And then the summer version, I wish I could make it darker in here. So for the summer version, let me see if I can get one of these going for you. This is what I wanted to do before I ended up live. And I swore to myself that I wasn't going to go an hour, and here I am at an hour. So sorry, everybody. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up in just a moment. So if we were going to do the white lights for summer, I just want to show you what that would look like inside. Okay. Now again, here's the white lights. So if you have clear, I think they call this clear. I also have a big green bulky, you know, battery pack here. But if it's nighttime, you might not see it. I don't know. I wasn't happy with it. But let me just tuck these in without the box in there. A lot of people are using these inside vases and things like that. But if you are doing a summer party, right, if you are using your Summer Nights paper pumpkin for exactly this, look at how beautiful that lights that up. And then, of course, you can see, like, it just glows. So I hope that you can somewhat see this. I will take pictures and post them of what they look like in the evening, and I will do I'll do a set of them as opposed to, you know, just seeing one, so that you can get a feel for what that would look like. But I would definitely say don't use real flames. I don't think that that's what that's intended for. I just put the blind down. But if you have these little fairy lights, I think they look so amazing inside the bag. So I just wanted to mention that. So whenever you create these, so let me put the clear inside the Halloween one, because I think that will show you the bats a little bit better. I think it's a little bit brighter. And then, of course, if you have the little battery operated votives or tea light candles, use those too. Oh, yeah. See, you can really see that way. Okay, so maybe the clear instead of the multi is the way to go. But whatever it is that you have at home, let me know. Are you actually going to be decorating with your little bags, or are you planning on using these for treat bags or something? Let me know. I would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again next Wednesday. Okay, bye everybody.